recording. I think it's going to give everybody a prompt to confirm that you're all aware that we are recording the screen. All right, so I am going to share screen. Oh, man, okay. Trying to figure out a good place to put, oh, there's Harry. All the toolbars so I can maximize what I see on the screen. Let me see. Welcome, Harry. Glad you could join. All right, so when you sign into Torah Readers and you land on this screen, I'm gonna give a little extra because I know Harry hasn't been to any tutorial at all. It always defaults to what you've already signed up for with your readings and assignments. And then I just usually go into reserve a Torah reading, which is where you'll also go. I'm just writing a note to myself so I don't forget something to mention later. Okay. So I'm going to just drill in here for a report. So everybody knows this is how you drill in. And those of you who are tutors, administrators, you'll see these couple little buttons up here. And Sharon, you were asking, how do I go ahead and assign my kids? This is where you're going to go into this button and edit. And that's the one that changes it from claiming to assigning. All right. So when you look through and you see what there is, and you want to get more details on that, we go into the Tikkun. And now once we're in here is where we've got a lot of the different options. So a lot of these have changed since the first round of tutorials. So I know font size was something people had talked about way early on. You can increase or decrease the font size. You can turn vowels trope on or off. You can just look at that. Personally, I like to just put that on and then make it a lot bigger so I can see. There's been discussion about the fact that we cannot tell the difference currently between Kamatz and Kamatz Katan and the Shva and the Shvana. I was having conversations with the developer and he said that the text that actually came ported in has that distinction, but it's this particular font that does not. So he is actually looking around to see if there is some other font that can be used, and that will ideally, fingers crossed, automatically allow that nuance to show up. If anybody knows where one gets publicly available Hebrew fonts, let me know. But hopefully that's something that will be resolved in the not too far future. All right, I'm going to keep going across the top of the menus once you're in here. So we've got colorize, and that is, as many of the tutors have, options to put the trope together. This is a global setting, the colors, that not individual. Apparently that caused some problems at other shuls, but for now it's just one setting. So these are loosely based on Rabbi Steve's color coding for his Bar Mitzvah students. All right, you can also highlight the trope, and so those will show up. You can highlight the vowels. These are toggle on and off. Great. And I managed to break this last time and it looks like it hasn't been fixed. I can't remember whether it was the vowels or the trope. One of them, when you turn it on, it puts the trope and the vowels out of whack, and they're no longer lined up with the, oh, there we go. Okay, they're back. This was a glitch early on that sometimes the vowels wouldn't be directly underneath the letters. There's Kathy. But we've got that all set up now. All right. Hey, Kathy, welcome. All right. So the colorize buttons in this menu, those are toggle on, toggle off. Translate is itself a toggle on, toggle off. All right. Trope teacher. I'm pretty sure I was using this for at least, I don't know, I'm going to say 6 months before I knew what this was. So if you have it toggled on and you click a word,
Gershaim.
it will sing that note for you. Are you guys able to hear that?
Yeah.
Okay. So again, that will just sing the note if you're unfamiliar with it and you want to have it separate from the actual word you're doing. So
Telisha Gedola.
okay. And again, that's a toggle on, toggle off. Print, that's not something you guys would be doing so much. And then to play it, you can, and it highlights as it goes along. So you can control the speed, how fast, how slow.
But Bonnie, for a while, most of them you couldn't play. Can you play them all now?
That's a good question. I'm going to say we can probably play a whole lot more now since we just rolled back to Genesis. I don't know if it was that he had stopped recording. One of the features is that for Chazan can upload their recordings for their shul. So once that feature became available and a lot of shuls started taking advantage of it, I think there was less demand for Gideon to record them all. I don't know what kind of what we might want to pursue at our shul as far as recording the entire Torah. Something to consider. Maybe we'll undertake that after photographing the entire Torahs, but I don't know, Deborah.
Okay. I mean, I may only be speaking for myself, but it's very helpful for me to hear it.
Oh, 100%.
I'm not always as clear on the pronunciations as I should be just by reading them. And so I go to other sources. But if I could do it here, that would certainly make it more convenient.
Absolutely. Yep. So. All right. Oh, I don't know why I skipped over print. I was thinking of printing the whole thing. No, print is excellent. You can, whatever you see on your screen is how it will print out. So if right now I only have the Hebrew, no translation and nothing highlighted. So
Telisha Gedola.
Didn't mean to do that. So if I colorize and turn on the translations, oops, and then print,
Yeah,
I've got that there too. Oops, did I turn the translation on and off?
Telisha Gedola.
Toggled on somehow in the background there. Okay, so something's glitchy and I'm going to write that down since I've pushed every single button on the menu bar and selected every single option. Something seems to have turned off the ability to translate. So I will note and we'll get that fixed.
it happens sometimes. And then when you go back to it, it translates fine.
Yeah. So if that happens, if anything weird, any unexpected behavior like this, as Deborah said, all you have to do to correct it is just back out and then come back in and everything works fine.
Yeah.
And please either let me know or I forget exactly where it is in the tool here. I think it's one of these buttons up top. Nope, not that one. Oh yeah, request. You can use this form right on here to log any questions, but just let me know and I'll add it to the things that I talk about with the developer. Other things of note. One thing that you'll notice it looks different is that the users won't see this left toolbar here. These are the admin controls. But actually I take that back. I don't remember now. Are there control?
No,
Is there a bar on the left at all?
no.
No. Okay.
I mean, there is on here, but not when I do it.
Not when you do it.
No.
So where do regular users go to settings?
Settings.
That's a really good question.
I believe that individuals can indicate here personalized. Amy, I feel like you and I were discussing one time how you could set the notification reminder.
I don't remember. And when I log on, of course, I see those admin.
Now you
settings.
see all this too.
Let me log in, Bonnie, and see if I
Okay.
can figure it out.
Well, I'm logged into my iPad and I don't see it, but it might be different on a desktop.
Yeah. So I have the site settings as a default right now. Or you know what? I think that used to be, and I think it was taken off. Something else. Too many people playing around with too many different settings. Okay, so I have it here. It's set up as the default that everybody gets an email reminder 6 days out. So you should get that on Sunday. I don't know if they call that Sunday or Monday, the week you're reading, and then right before Shabbat also. So you get the automatic reminders when it goes out. Something new. Well, let me go back to the beginning. And when you go into reserve a Torah reading, I just want to show you everything that's on here. So obviously what we use 90% of the time, right? Oops, Diane is on her way in. Mostly we're using this for our Shabbat readings, right? And that's will be filled up here. But do make sure to check and scroll down because the holy days come up down here. So good timing that Diane just joined. She's doing, I think, all of the readings for Hanukkah Day 7 here, but they won't be integrated. I don't know how popular a request it is across the board. I would love the option to just throw everything together by date, but just note that when you're going through, it does separate out Shabbat from the holy days. And then we've got the Megillot down here as well. So sometimes I'll put in my emails like, hey, scroll down, make sure you see it all. That's what I'm talking about. Let's see what I wanted to do. Oh, and this was what I was mentioning for the tutors. We now have this reading management button over here on the left bar, so you can get into it quickly as well. One thing that is really awesome from the administrator perspective, and just so you guys know this also, well, let me find something that has numbers next to it. What we now have, well, I could go down in a rat hole and not find it. But what it has is I can go through, if I'm looking for something that gets assigned, this little part here where you see the book and a 0, if somebody has read that before, it will show up there, and then I can click and I can see who has read that before at a glance. So as we go through, we're a full year into using this now. As we go through and we've got more data in here, it'll be easy to kind of give a little tap on the shoulder, say, hey, you've read this one before, if you want to sign up again when something might be a little bit closer time with less time to prepare.
If it keeps track of that, why will it not tell me anything beyond the last 10 readings I have done?
Yes.
For your personal readings?
yeah, me personally, it says my past readings
Oh,
and
okay.
it only gives me 10.
And I know you've done way more than that.
I know I have two, and well, you see
Oh, wait, hang
things.
on. You sure it's not 1 to 10? You
No,
don't,
let me,
Okay.
I'm in it right now. Let me look. I think
Okay.
for me, it says, so my past readings. Oh, I lied.
I think it gives you 10 at a time.
It gives me 10 at a time.
Right.
I was like, why is it doing that? Okay.
And
never
Bonnie, I'll
mind.
just point out that in terms of logging who read it last, even though we're a year into it, don't forget it's gonna be 3 years.
Yep,
Yeah.
So, so we're not gonna see people populating for a while.
yep. Yeah, sadly. but
Well, you will for Haftarahs
we will for
Yes,
Haftarah.
exactly, yes.
and
We'll
for
get
some
there.
of the special muftirs, maybe.
Yep. I'm not exactly sure what the coding looks like for that, if it's coded for the, anytime those verses come up or that reading, or if it's specifically attached to the Parsha. But I'm just letting you guys see, I thought that was pretty fun on the back end to be able to do that. Questions? I know this is nothing, it's not anything large that's changed, and I know everybody's been using it pretty smoothly. I've been really pleased. But if there's anything that you've encountered that's a snag or doesn't behave the way you expect it to do.
I have a question. It's more of as a tutor.
Uh-huh.
So I've figured out how to add a temporary reader.
Okay,
but-
perfect.
But sometimes, but I still, when I go to sign them up, I still can't, somehow I haven't been able to click on that person. So I still end up signing it up for me and putting their name as a comment.
Okay, was Nate? Oh, no, that's Rabbi Steve. Who's one of yours coming up?
Talia, she's probably in already. Talia Max. And she's in January. Shemot.
Okay, yeah, see, right,
Yeah.
you've got your name in there.
Yeah.
So,
So I think I added her as a temporary member.
mhm,
Yeah, there we go. Temporary members. So
yep, she's in there.
she's there, but then for some reason I couldn't pull up her name to reserve the Parsha.
Let's see. We'll try that again from here.
Okay.
Oh, I went right past it.
Oh, it's the search about.
So remember that you have to go into the admin option
Okay.
to edit. And I can assign Talia Max.
Okay.
Do you want to do it? Or I'll do one.
Yeah, I can't. I don't think I can click on yours to make it work. I
No,
keep
no,
trying.
but I just want to make sure that you can do that from your end
Okay.
as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'll log in and give it a try.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I ask what you're doing? You're logging in and assigning somebody other than yourself.
Exactly. Exactly.
Correct. So our
You
system,
guys don't have to do that, but yeah.
what we've established for the bar and bar mitzvah students, since most of them will not become active users of Torah readers, we just create a temporary account. It doesn't even have an email address attached to it. And then that's how we can assign them in the tool. So what we had started with is a possibility was we just had what Sharon had, the tutor would take it and then note that their student was actually the one reading it. However, when, let me back out of this, when I would print the Gabbai sheet and it would get printed out, I know the rabbi sometimes just, there's a ton of papers up on the Bima, right? And things are overlapping. So often he would only just be looking, like straight down the assignment column and might not notice that there's other stuff filled in over here. So I've we try to keep it really clean so that the person it's assigned to is always the reader.
So Bonnie, I'm looking at my, my sign in now,
Uh-huh.
and I have the admin bars on the left.
Yep.
So where do I go to start this?
The very first button, reading management.
Oh, reading management.
Oops,
Okay,
I'm gonna
I think
take
it's
Talia's
used
name off of
once.
here.
Reading management. Okay. And then, okay, and then I have to go to her date. Gotcha.
And her date, and then edit with the admin tools. So let me grab Hanukkah Rosh Chodesh. What I've used in some of the other fields for. Are we able to do it, Sharon?
I'm still trying to figure out. So would I need to release reading first?
No,
Hmm.
you make sure you go into edit this parsha.
No, let me find that.
It's above the list of aliyot.
Oh, it's up, oh, it's at the top. Okay. In the blue ribbon. Okay.
Right. If you're not in the admin view, you can only sign up or unsign yourself up.
Okay,
Once you
gotcha.
go
So
into
edit
the
this
admin editing, then you can assign. All right, so I just want to show folks that just to pay attention, since now everybody has become more intimately aware with our Torah rotation than anybody really cared to, making sure we're on top of it for the photos. So note here, this is Hanukkah Rosh Chodesh at the end of the year, so we will have all 3 Torahs out. So Diane and Jeff's not here right now, but this is where it'll say whether you're reading from one of the alternate Torahs or not, and then reference the little graphic to know which one. I think right now middle Torah is 2. I don't remember. But make sure you're going into the correct folder when you go to find your pictures. Were you able to assign it, Sharon?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so now I go back in. Look. Great, seeing it has this
I
here.
did it.
This
Yay.
does not print out on the Gabby sheets, but this is some good information that stays here online, so we can see if somebody's name showed up there and it wasn't them, we'll know who is responsible for having put their name on it. All right.
Bonnie, I
Yes.
think I'm going to need a tutorial on how to get the pictures from the Torah.
Yes. Okay. This is perfect. That was the last thing I wanted to do. Any questions? I wanted to keep this to 30 minutes. Any questions about Torah readers? Specifically, feel free to email anytime. All right. So what I always like to do, I do put this on the web, on my emails. I try to always remember to include a link to Torah readers and a link to the photos. If you can't find an email, what I just do is start at the home page, under prayer, and click lay leader resources. And then at the bottom, here's our stuff. So we've got a link to TorahReaders.net is here, and the link to print the pictures. If you want to bookmark this link, what you cannot do is go to the page and then say, bookmark this page. What you need to do is copy the link address from here and use that as the bookmark. Because when you land on the page, it resolves something about the SharePoint and you will get an error and it says you cannot get in or you don't have permissions or something like that. I'm sure everybody hit that wall at least once along the way. All right. So as Marcy had said, and as folks are starting to learn the more fun intricacies of the Torah rotation. Right now, Torah 1 is our rightmost position. That's for regular Shabbat services. So if it is not a special holiday reading or a special maftir, we're going to be out of right Torah, which is Torah 1. Okay. And so inside of that, these are obviously the 5 books, just so we don't have infinitely long lists. So Torah 1, Genesis, and then this is the entirety of Genesis. Excuse me, similarly to how your Chumash is labeled at the top of the page, it'll tell you what chapter verse that page contains on it at the top. This is exactly the same. So for example, T1, Gen, C19, V10, that is chapter 19, verse 10 is either, let me back up. We have 2 pictures of each column. There's a top half and a bottom half. So if a photo happens to be the top half, as this one is, somewhere, excuse me, hang on, my toolbar's on top of that. Somewhere in the first line is the beginning of chapter 19, verse 10. So that's how you know where it is. And then if you look at a bottom half column, there will be a yod. So chapter 19, verse 20 starts somewhere on this line. Anything in between, you can kind of count and find. Does that make sense?
Yes, and thank you to all of you who've been doing this because it's extremely helpful.
Yeah. This is great. I mean, just
That really is.
I'm excited to, well, I can't get too excited. It's a 3-year project, right? So just to let everybody know, the pace is that we're going to keep up and try to make sure that everything that folks are able to access and sign up for in Torah readers. So if I was pretty much, yeah, I think this is correct. Everything that's out there now. Oh, I didn't publish the February readings last week like I said I would. All right, look at this. I'm not publishing Sisterhood Shabbat because we'll take that one. But Yitro published. Publish Yitro, Mishpatim. So everything out there now through the end of February, Kathy, I'm speaking in future tense. Everything that's there now.
Thank you.
And when I say now, I mean 48 hours from now. You will have all the photos through the end of February will be out there and available to go access. So I just try to stay.
We have everything Sisterhood Shabbat now, and the February ones will be by the end of the week.
Yep. Yes.
I have a question for probably Kathy and Bonnie on
Okay.
the page. If you can pull up that page again where we access the photos, and it has like T1, T2, T4.
Yep.
Yes, here. Is there a way that we could at least and it would have to change every year, but put like maybe where it says modified, like put right, middle, left, or something like that, like regular maftir holiday on this
What we're
page?
currently using,
Yeah.
That shouldn't be a big deal. No, Kathy?
as long as we remember to change it.
I'll remind you.
Well,
That being the
actually,
key.
Sharon, that's fine for most of the year, except for as we approach the end of the year when some people are looking to get readings from
Right.
Deuteronomy and then
Put the year. Put the Hebrew year.
Okay. While we think on that, how about in this folder, we add a picture of the arc with everybody's position on it?
Yes. Yeah, because I keep having to look back at that picture. I mean, now I sort of, well, I know which one is the regular readings, but I keep looking
Yeah.
back at your little picture, which is fabulous.
Yeah,
I was gonna
so,
say, a picture of that, a picture of that arc picture would be helpful. And
Mhm.
maybe even a modified, I mean, it's a lot for people to learn how to read, but maybe even a modified picture of the scroll rotation document that Linda makes.
Mhm.
that's what I was wondering. Are people interested in seeing all of that stuff? Like, is this, let me open up my drive. Tour reading. Do I not have it?
EMS Torah, is it that one? I'm trying to point on my end.
No. Is that working?
No.
No. Um. All right, here.
There it is.
So if we keep that photo there, and then Linda's scroll, tour rotation here. So tour readers, do you guys have interest in being able to reference this?
It's more information than I would ever need.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. So Linda is actually the one that creates and maintains this, and this is actually my source for whether we're using multiple scrolls and which one is being used for which. And we just went through, as we came across the new year, this has been circulated and gone back and forth with Rabbi Eric, and I think we've just now got the final blessing that these are all correct, and also the location of where it's being held, so we know which scrolls we're using. That's all there. And then we also keep the scroll rotation. What's coming up next? But in the short term, I think we can certainly make sure to include this photo
Yeah,
right
that's useful.
here in case
Yeah.
folks forget.
That'd be perfect
Yeah,
for me. Yeah.
yeah, me too. That's really useful.
Okay. Well, for now, remember that we're on Torah 1, unless something otherwise. But right when we go through, and if you're looking at, Shabbat Hanukkah, and it's not 1, but you're like, well,
Oh,
Diane
there it
says,
is.
I've got middle. Which one is middle? All right. Okay, that's Torah 2. So, I think that's about all I wanted to make sure that I covered today. Again, nothing super earth-shattering. I feel like we're at a pretty good point through this year of becoming, getting a bit of a pattern going and understanding when stuff's going to get put out. Thank you to whoever had made the suggestion. I will try to make sure to keep these 3 months ahead. So
Mhm.
you'll have at least 2 full months, pull from 2, 3, and then when we shrink down. So I'll aim to get March out there at the end of December, early January. And
I take it everybody on this call is really experienced. Nothing you've covered has been basics at all about how to use it. It's just all some fine points.
yes,
Every piece of system. So I thought this would be more basic, but I can see that you don't need to do that unless this is a select group of people who are.
so Harriet, honestly, from the user perspective, if people are going to reserve a Torah reading, yeah, they would just go in and click claim it. And I just walked everybody through all the different options you can do once you're in.
Yeah.
You just click around and see.
Yeah.
I'm happy to stay on the phone with you now if you want, or we'll talk next week.
We're planning to talk in a week, and I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just you went through every movement you made was so fast, I could barely follow it on the screen. So what I'm getting from this basically is that once you're used to it, you flip through it and everybody knows what's going on. And somebody like me who's new to it is like, what's going on? I don't
Well,
know.
let me test that theory. Beth Meyer folks, was this all comfortable, unfamiliar, or was that just too much, too fast on this end?
That was good.
Yeah, that was fine.
Okay.
I had gone through it before the call, so I kind of knew what you were talking about. But had I not done that, it may have been a little fast.
And this is probably all new for Harry as well, so I don't know.
I'm wondering if there's a way that Harriet can sign in and play, and click on things, because I think once you're able to click on things, it's pretty self-explanatory and it's pretty.
Well, I'm going to find out if there's any training or support from the torahreaders.net.
I believe there's videos out there.
Yeah,
Harry.
videos are, some are good. I'd have to see the videos to see if they were any help. A lot of training videos are pretty bad, but
These are
it won't be up
decent.
to me. If they adopt the program and I can't use it, I'll just quit and somebody else can do my job.
I mean, it's pretty user-friendly from
Yeah.
the Torah reader's perspective. I can't speak for managers because I don't do any of that. But from the Torah reader's perspective, it's pretty user-friendly. If you play with it once or twice, it's usually, I found that it was pretty easy to figure out what to do. with
Okay.
Pretty
And
simple
Bonnie and
stuff.
I can help you
Yeah.
go through those first few times. I'm happy to help you with that.
I think that if you play with it a couple of times, and Bonnie can set it up so you can play with it a couple of times while she's there, you'll
Mhm.
find that it's really pretty user-friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I learned a couple of things. I didn't know that you could highlight and go on single words. I'm still using Trope Trainer, but just because it has the trope that I learned
Mhm.
in. But if ever Trope Trainer fails me, which it has done in the past, or my computer dies because it's on this computer and it's no longer available, then it's really nice to be able to click on the single
Mhm.
trope.
Yep.
To get that, and they're not.
I have a teacher,
that
and
different.
I have a book where it's written out and I play it on the piano, and I don't know.
Nice.
I don't think I would use this, but I'm just getting used to it. I appreciate
Harry,
you letting me sit in on this.
Yeah, no problem. Harry, feel free to just email me or Sharon, or
Yeah.
we'll take care of you.
And also, I just want to mention, I'm still planning to teach a class. We're aiming for sometime in January. We haven't set the date yet, but some of the nuances of trope and mostly the pronunciation, I think, and some little trope nuances and resources. I still have right in front of me the questions that people asked from our in-person session a few weeks ago. And so that's when I'll address those, like what are the other good resources online, and how just kind of all the interesting questions and kind of difficult pronunciations or difficult tropes that people were asking about. So that'll be sometime in January. Just keep an eye out for that.
Yep, thanks,
Thank
Sharon.
you.
Any other questions before we wrap up? All right, guys. Well, we kept it short and sweet. Thank you for all
Bonnie.
you do. This is a huge, huge thing, and anything I can do to help make this part of it easier for you, just let me know.
Thanks,
you.
Bonnie.
Thanks,
Thank
Bonnie.
you.
Thank
Give our
you.
best to
Thank you.
Jim.
I'll talk to you
Thank
next
you.
week. Thanks a lot.